Al-Mustafa, the chosen and the beloved, who was a dawn unto his own day, had waited 12 years in the city of Orphalese for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. And in the 12th year, on the 12th day of Ailul, the month of reaping, he climbed the hill without the city walls and looked seaward, and he beheld his ship coming with the mist. Then the gates of his heart were flung open, and his joy flew far over the sea. And he closed his eyes and prayed in the silence of his soul. But as he descended the hill, a sadness came upon him, and he thought in his heart, "How shall I go in peace and without sorrow? Nay, not without a wound in the spirit shall I leave this city. Long were the days of pain I have spent within its walls, and long were the nights of aloneness, and who can depart from his pain and his aloneness without regret? Too many fragments of the spirit have I scattered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and with thirst." Oh, I could read this whole book. "And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun." Oh, Khalil Gibran, however we choose to pronounce it, however it is actually pronounced. The Prophet. One of my all-time favorites. Bible of sorts. Yellow electric warrior. Fearlessness. The warrior is one of my favorite archetypes. Truly. In the wave spell of the warrior, the yellow sun sits in position 5, radiant, commanding, and one more. I shall have the pleasure to remember or look it up. I said earlier to anyone who isn't listening to these in any order or all of them, I have no expectation anybody should listen to all of these. But each tone, each day seal is accompanied by 3 words, and they should be, since I've been in this for the longest time, not the longest time, couple of years, one should expect I know them all by heart. And somewhere I do, but I know them in my heart, but my heart-mind link doesn't always function fluidly in both directions. Information access isn't always granted, so which is totally fine for me, because it means I don't remember everything all the time. Obviously, but I mean in this case, the 3 words every day, 6 words every day. And when I then look it up, which I sometimes do, it's like, yeah, that was that. And I love that moment. Forgetting stuff is like great, because remembering stuff is great. Can be great. I speak as if I speak in absolutes. Ugh. Sometimes I don't generally listen back to my own recordings, but sometimes I do, and then it's like, oh, I hope this is understood. I sometimes say things as if that's like an absolute, and I don't make the caveat, 100 caveats I should make in every sentence, that other mentioning other dimensions, other interpretations, other situations, cannot generalize, la 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 la, but my videos will be 3 times as long if I did that. Another reason the yellow warrior is one of my favorite seals is because of who he's walking with. His 3 friends. 3 plus 1. There's always a guide. Which today, on tone 3, day 3 in the wizard wave spell is none less than the yellow sun. Warriors 3, 8, and 13 are guided by the sun. Electric, galactic, and cosmic. A galactic test integrity of the warrior. No less than the sun can really do that, although I guess the potentials could also do that. But it's better done by the sun so that the potentials actually yield. It's a bit wasteful if we're only testing integrity when the potentials have already been, the seeds have already been built. We do it on a level of consciousness. We test integrity on the level of consciousness. Let consciousness be the guide. And today let me consciousness or light, life, light, definitions, guide the warrior, fearlessness, questioning, intelligence, questioning, fearlessness, intelligence, fearlessly question, intelligence. I don't know if one is meant to switch these words around, but I enjoy doing that. And if you open up all the, wait a minute, I spoke about what I love. Who are these 4 friends? The 4 friends, the 3 friends. It's the night, abundance, intuition, dream time, dream, world bridger, death, equalize, opportunity. Equalize is one of those words with the world bridger. I usually forget. Equalize. Oof, I had like honey on my tongue. Equalize. Oh, what a beautiful word. Beautiful concept. And of course with death, equalize. Yeah. And serpent, life force, survive instinct. Now if you take in the sun, universal fire, enlighten life. Those are like the 3 words that go with each of these seals, and then the warrior's own intelligence, question, fearlessness. Now we have 5 times 3 words. And then if I like doing that sometimes, mix them around. Death, dream, life, abundance, opportunity, survive, life, enlighten, dream, abundance, fearlessly question, enlightenment, question, life force. Opportunity, abundance, opportunity, instinct, universal fire. Whatever, make sentences out of that. It's like a game. We could make a card game out of those. Like, what are those games the card game called, where you turn the cards around and 2 have to match, and then you keep them. But this game would be different. It would have these words on, and then you roll a dice, and then you open up 1, 2, 3 to 6 cards, words, and then you make a sentence out of that. And you can decide whether you have to make that sentence out of the sequence you have turned the cards around in. Yeah, probably. Or jumble them up. You can mix them around. And you can change these words, like you can abundance, you can make abundant, abundantly. You can change that, but you can't add any other words into the sentences. Anyway. Focus, focus, focus. There's a lot of I feel like I'm bird's eye viewing, eagling over a highway crossing, a multi-highway crossing, and each of them is many lanes and one of those really huge intersections. And a lot of thoughts flowing along all of them, or concepts, or ideas, trajectories I could talk about a lot. And this mind isn't settling, hasn't yet settled. So to help me settle and move into channel mode. Channel, I'm not channeling in the classical sense of the word. But speaking of channel, in this wave spell, tone 7, the center tone, the center day, we have 13 days, 13 called tones, 13 tones of creation. The center, tone 7, the seal in this wave spell is the sun. It's the first yellow sun we meet in a spin. A spin is a sequence of 260 days, one Tzolk'in spin. We started a new spin 13, 14, 15, 16 days ago. We're 16 days in, way, way early still. We've initiated being something new, birthing new being, birthing our old being, birthing timelessness. The wizard is timelessness. The dragon is birthing. So we are busy birthing timelessness. The next wave spell is the blue hand. Healing. We've birthed timelessness. We are healing our life because the wave spell after the blue hand is the yellow sun. Excited. Sorry, too excited. So today we're guided by the yellow sun and we are the yellow warrior. The yellow warrior is not present directly in the wave spell of the yellow sun. I do not need to elaborate on that. But the yellow sun is present in the wave spell of the yellow warrior, and they are very, very linked. Since the warrior is, we call it in these days the warrior of light, fearlessness, traversing the fields of darkness. The crack is where the light shows in, right? I'm reminded of that. Al-Mustafa acknowledges I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor a thought I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and thirst. That is warrior. That is warrior of light. That is the acceptance of and the intelligence, the intelligent acceptance of life as a human and becoming human in the wave spell of the yellow human. The yellow warrior sits in position 5, command, radiance, empowerment is the third word. See, comes when it's needed. If it doesn't come, I don't look for it. And I don't tell myself, this is early stages of dementia. When I was 10 years old, I suffered from forgetfulness. Didn't get good grades for that, but nobody told me, oh, child, you got dementia, you just early stages, watch out for it. Why do we tell ourselves that when we're... Anyhow, the yellow human, who's cosmic, incidentally, tone 13, in the wave spell of the yellow sun. I throw these in just because I love these connections. It's just like, oh my goodness. Now, being the yellow warrior, fearlessness, intelligence, questioning, as the position of radiant center, command and empowerment of the yellow human. And I just want to mention that there isn't a red or a blue or a white human in the Tolkien. The human is always yellow. It's one of the yellow signs. Does not refer to the Chinaman. Does not refer to anybody with yellow skin color. Or maybe we all have. Brown is very dark yellow, right? Pink surely too. Some hue of yellow. Anyway, the yellow human, the yellow warrior, and the yellow sun, and the yellow human's wave spell. I bring it in because it relates. It's just related, the position, to understand, not to understand, but to like really grasp the gravity of some of these seals. It's good to learn them one by one and then to like see how they, the yellow human's wave spell, the last tone is the yellow seed. So the yellow seals, always the seals of one color in a wave spell form a thing called a pulsar. And in the yellow human, we're all human, so it's really relevant because we're all here to become human. We are forming humanity, we are evolving humanity, we are the collective human, and we are, our own evolvers. Who are we? What is human? What does it mean? And if we shun any part of that is not human, everything is human. Every aspect of our humanity is part of our humanity. And it's very good for us to realize that we too have the propensity or potential for good and evil. And it's just any human can take it there if they choose, or if they are forced to, or if they are so hurt that that's just what comes out. That which we tend to call evil, or really like very, very dark. Any of us have that potential, active or dormant or anywhere in between within us. We are made out of everything, and we get to choose, and there's no God judging the choice, because every experience is valuable to the whole and to the individual. The human transcends in the cosmic seed. So we are evolving we can start from the human and evolve our potential. Who I am as a human is the seed of the seed. Oh, no, I'm not going there now. How does the warrior relate to his own antipode? The death, the world bridger, the white world bridger. Death, equalize opportunity, is the furthest away seal from the warrior. Can't function without it. Can't cling to your life, can't cling to your securities. You can't be fearless if you're afraid. But you can't be fearless if you're not afraid either. Back to duality. Back to life. Back to duality. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, so then who is the lunar warrior? Is in the eagle wave spell. We're in the wizard wave spell, so the warrior is on tone 3, linking. He links service, consciousness, the highest form of consciousness. It's service to the whole, service to self and service to the whole. Service to self that is in some way disservice genuinely to the whole is not a service to the self either. Service to self and service to whole are one, are in alignment. That's intelligence, and a warrior is connected to the blue knight, intuition. Without his intuition, without her intuition, the warrior doesn't work. It's intelligence. Intelligence. Oof, intelligence. I'm skipping across a lot of things here. I realize I'm starting things and I'm not really completing them. The lunar warrior, I'm getting back to the intelligence. Let me see if I can hold a broader view. Eagle, lunar eagle. So focusing on nitty gritty, focusing in on one thing, losing sight of the broader perspective, or am I going to be able to polarize or keep both going? The focusing in and the broad perspective. I'm weaving a large carpet, but I'm focusing in on one part of the carpet without losing sight of the bigger picture, because I'm weaving a lot of places at the same time. So when the warrior is lunar in the eagle's wave spell, which is very, very towards, it's the second last wave spell if I'm not mistaken, and I am not mistaken. It's the second last wave spell, and the duality of the warrior, the position of challenging and stabilizing. Anything that stabilizes also serves to destabilize, because destabilization and stabilization form a pulse that causes another layer stabilization. This sounds like complete nonsense. But it depends on the level. Anyhow, we should stay here. Should we stay here? How broad should we stay here? Should we stay here? We are on tone 3 today, linking, service. We can ask ourselves our own service to the collective, but to me that's often serving. We cannot not serve, even if it looks to someone else like that isn't serving the collective at all. That is very damaging, that is egotistical. And we can take different perspectives. My perspective isn't truer or righter than any other perspective. It's just my perspective. And it would be so I wonder if we get, maybe that's what happens during certain psychedelic experiences, when we expand our perspective and suddenly find ourselves able to embody every perspective. It is a non-human experience. It's a not it was a non-human experience. A psychedelic is a human experience, but it's a mind so far expanded that it's like out of reach of. Is it out of reach of regular brain states? Since we are single-digit humans, we can. Oh. Mm. For some reason, this train is taking me straight into the black hole at the center of, I don't know if whatever is at the center of our galaxy. Yeah, that I am not going to put that into words. I am not fit to put that into words. Not right now. Fearlessly allowing our own seeming annihilation, dissolving the individual self into a greater, dissolving it into a nothing, allowing for all possibilities, world bridger. Just the allowance for all possibilities. We are collapsing in on one. We are collapsing the wave function. We are collapsing the superposition, whatever. We are collapsing it into each and every individual moment of existence. Each and every one of us. And who would I deny the right and relevance of their experience? Who, how, what intelligence, my own judgment says that is not intelligent. But it isn't that is not intelligent. It is just a limited point of view. And limited points of view are also intelligent. They're also relevant. As everything makes up the whole. Which part of everything would we remove and say this would improve reality, this would improve life? Who in their right mind can stand there and say, I am so intelligent, I know how to improve reality, this is not good, this should not be happening, this should not be. This is a glitch in the system. This is God made a mistake. Hello. I mean, you can always say, I, from my limited point of view, from my perspective, small and limited as it is, don't approve of that. Absolutely do that. We can do that. But surely we have to acknowledge an intelligent system at work that exceeds our own individual intelligence. By far. Surrender, world bridger. Intelligence, know your battles. There are some battles we have to fight and we should not avoid, or we do well not to avoid, but to know which ones are they. Are we here to fight each other, defend each other. Europe or Germany is going into this. We have to build our army again. We have to make ourselves, we have to improve our defense systems. I mean, to me, that's just like, oh my goodness, that's like, that is really like, these people didn't play enough in their childhoods. They really didn't. That's a total judgment call on my part. I own it. Like, what are you doing? But then again, go ahead. Anyone who wants to still play that game, we want to play war. There are no victims on this planet as far as I'm concerned. Everyone is involved in exactly the game and the play, the theater play that they have chosen. So if you can't think of anything more interesting than playing war, or maybe it is real fun. Maybe I just haven't seen the light yet. Whatever. The light. You can't acknowledge the light without acknowledging the dark. It is a skin I tear with my own hands. It is not without a wound I leave. Love wounds. We like to polarize, and I always call it splitting the atom. We only want half of it. We want half of reality. We only want the good. And where does that come from? It's a very, in the Western world, that is a very Christian-oriented thought pattern, because as far as I understand, prior to Christianity, the polarities were understood as part of a whole. In other cultures, other religions, it's still understood that way. And Christianity dissected the whole. They split it into good and bad. And bad is to be shunned and good is to be furthered. So, but when we strengthen one pole, we automatically strengthen the other pole. And if we've integrated both, we can strengthen, because it will strengthen the whole, and we understand that the whole is there. Whatever. Aim? No. Reality? Whatever. But if we're only strengthening one pole and pressing the other into the dark, the other is evil, we're also strengthening what we call and deem evil, our shadow. And it's okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. It's not like we can. Nobody needs permission. We are. And we are exploring, what does that do? What does that do? The earth plane is a fantastic, because as far as it's very limited, it's also very free. As Abraham Hicks says, you're so free you can choose bondage. And don't we ever? I mean, what a feat to be God and to be able to forget yourself. And then what? I mean, sometimes I am given to imagining. What does that feel like? What's it like to be God? I can certainly fearlessly ask that question, knowing very well, of course. But then, for me personally, the warrior is not the one who needs to bring answers. He's the one who asked the question. He can ask any question. The answer comes from the field. It's like you can sow your seeds, you can pick the seeds also. And you can pick your field. We have a lot of, but once the seed is in the ground, you can't make it anything. You can't make it. You can't make it grow. You can't speed up. Although you can build a pyramid on top of it, and that will speed up its growth, and it will probably increase its size. The primordial code. I recommend the documentary. I'm not tiring to recommend that documentary. The warrior. The occult, hidden. Oh, if we're staying with the seals, and now, wow, is this red serpent. So life force. If we go into fear, fear blocks life force. Fear restricts. Fear is a bit of an antidote. And yet it is the yang to the yin. It is something that we need to, I do believe it's needed to know something else. It's like a measure or how would I describe that? Oh my, I'm not I'm eloquent enough. A real bummer is fear of fear. Fear of fear is that's a real gatekeeper. That's really strong. If we're afraid of being afraid, that's like a door with 7 locks. Like, and yet fear is a portal. Not always. I remember, I've explored fear for many years now, actively. I really actively took myself there because if it's in the unconscious, it's just like, it's really not, I really don't like it, but I remember in the early days experiencing fear sometimes like a tunnel, I don't know what that fairy tale is called in English, where in many fairy tales actually someone falls into a well and something happens on the fall, or something at the bottom of the well. It might be fearlessly jumping into the well, yellow warrior, and then white world bridger at the bottom is the transition into a new possibility. We, from a certain perspective, might think that person died because at the bottom of the well it's very deep, far, break neck, drown, blah blah blah. But they have a new experience. They go into a different dimension in that process and get a new experience. And tends to be a very healing experience very often. Life force, abundance, night. It's dark in the well. Blue night attached to the yellow warrior. And I learned in falling through that, it felt like a well. I fell into dark tunnel. It's just, I felt like I was falling and spinning. I got nauseous, dizzy, all of that. And in that process, first I learned stop. At some point I learned to stop and pull myself out, back took a while, but I got that down. And when I knew I had that, I decided, okay, keep falling, because you know you can pull yourself out anytime. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. I will admit I was not a little bit impressed with myself. I was very impressed with myself. Anyhow, the last time I did that, I realized this is not a tunnel with a light at the end of it. Oddly, in this particular case, the light at the end of that tunnel was when I turned around, and it was the light at the beginning of the tunnel, and I went back. My experience was, if I keep on falling here, this fear, this hole, this well, this dark tunnel I'm in, it's just going to continue, and it's going to add more of itself unto itself in the same speed I'm falling in. So I'm falling into the infinite fear, like it would just keep on going like that. I wasn't afraid of that, because I knew anytime I can pull back and pull myself out. I'm still a finite being, so I'm not about to fall infinitely. So my finite, I started somewhere going in. So however long I fall, it might take me as long to go back, and I knew it didn't, but it's not going to be, But I realized I can stop, because this isn't going to yield anything new. This isn't going to yield a surprise. There isn't going to be a new opportunity. If I keep on falling, I will just keep on falling. I mean, go for it if you want, but I mean, there's nothing new here, so. And that was the last time I did that. I was like, okay, interesting. Very interesting experience. And ever since then, I learned to ascertain relatively quickly when I come upon a fear. I check it out very quickly. Are you a portal? Are you a messenger? Are you a blocked door that I need to open? Or are you a bottomless pit that just is trying to draw me in? And it's just added a dimension to my game, to my human game, that I adore. It doesn't happen very often, but it's just like when it happens, like, book. And since it's like a little wake-up call. It's like a teeny little, like, are you awake? Are you dreaming? It's like one of those lucid dream methods on how to check yourself and remind yourself you are in a lucid dream. It's like what, and then I make it, it's very interesting, because what happens in that moment where I ask myself that, do I make a decision? Do I decide you're a bottomless pit, I'm not going there? Do I decide you are a portal, and the programmer I am of my own reality, if I am the creator also, not like God, but I am the creator of my own filters in this infinite abundant dream field we live in, that we're collapsing wave functions. Have I made the decision to collapse this wave function into this? You're a portal, I'm going through you. Tell me, show me what you got. And inevitably, actually, the funny thing is, now that I'm talking about it, the result of each of these decisions is the same. It's a new moment. It's a collapse. It's a new moment. I'm collapsing infinite potentials into another experience, different and new to the one I've just had. But no, it's not always, because sometimes not the same. I was about to say it's always peaceful. It isn't. It's odd. If I decide to go through a portal, I can go there like with tremor. It's not the same as when I say, go away. You're just an old thing calling my name. Go away, I don't have time for you. Then I can peacefully turn around and walk the other way. Look at something else. Go play somewhere else. If I say you're a portal and I'm going through, I still feel that it's like a cold wind. It's not a storm that blows me away, but I can feel, I do feel that tug of fear physically, often physical, like a trembling or something. But then that melts into something warm, and then the gift, because if it's a portal, it leads you somewhere, right? And sometimes it leads through a portal of death consciously. And then you turn around, and what do you see behind you? Your shedded skin, or your skin that's no longer attached to your body, but still surrounding it. It's going to be shed, but you're just on a level of a couple of cells that have released their own themselves from the Tatiana in this case. They have already said, bye-bye Tatiana, we are joining this train and we are moving off of you, of your body, of your life experience. We're going somewhere else. We're becoming part of a new life experience that is, in 3D terms, no longer part of you. And sometimes that is, I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. The sea that calls all things unto her calls me, and I must embark. For to stay through the hours, for to stay though the hours burn in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. I mean, is that... Fain would I take with me all that is here, but how shall I? A voice cannot carry the tongue and the lips that gave it wings. Alone must it seek the ether. Now, and alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun. Sons of my ancient mother, you riders of the tides, how often have you sailed in my dreams? And now you come in my awakening, which is my deeper dream. Anyhow, shall we conclude? to love ourselves fearlessly. I could go deep into the shadow now. Why are we afraid to love ourselves? Why have we learned to not love ourselves? But that is all as it should be. Duality, polarity. To come back into the light, we have to descend or ascend. I mean, the earth herself is like a perfect metaphor in so many ways. We stand upon her. We also hang on her. I mean, why are we are very tuned to see the world as in we're standing on her. Everything grows up toward the light. Hello? We're hanging on the earth. Everything grows down towards the sun. And this perfect dance of the earth with light and dark, with warm and cool. There's a place in the middle. Why am I always going on about that? Because that place in the center of the polarity, that dot in the center of the circle, equidistant. You can move that dot to anywhere. Then it's no longer the center of the circle, but those other places. Oh man. I mean, if all is one at the bottom of, not the bottom, oh God, I mean, what is it, the Planck scale? Is it at that level where everything is one? It is where we all connect, where the one spreads out. So if that one center, everywhere is the center. In Mayan terminology, the Hunapku is like the galactic sun. It's the central sun, the central source. And while in the third dimension there may be a assigned space for such a thing, because in 3D that's how it works, but in the multidimensional reality level, the central sun is everywhere. The center is everywhere at the same time. It's the same center. And it makes absolute sense, and it's incredibly easy to sense that, to know that, and there's no greater peace than to that, because you are it. Your sense of center is it. It's the same sense of center that I experience. There's no conflict. It's not 3D. In 3D that doesn't work. If you just share love with one cell, if you really love just one cell in your own body, every cell in your body receives that love. Love is not exclusive. Love cannot exclude. Love is a force like light. You can't, it goes in all directions. It includes everything. When it touches one thing, it touches everything. It is life itself. Life is love. and to love the self, every self, to love, self-love, universal love. What is the difference? Something in my head says judgment, judgment. It's like there's this aspect in my mind that no matter what I say, oh, there's always like, oh, but the opposite is also true. Oh, but the opposite. Oh, but this, Oh. I don't know if it's tedious or if it just makes me go more quiet. Like, why say anything at all? Just love. What is the warrior of light? What is this light? What is light? What is light exactly or not exactly? Awareness, consciousness, information. Light code. Activate your light codes in your DNA, in your cellular structure, in your mind, in your emotions, in your bodies. Activate the light codes. It's electric warrior activation, linking, service. Tone 3. Does it? 1144. Activate, yes, of course it stands for activate, bond, service, bonding, linking, bonding. That's interesting. Usually things, I'm thinking things bond. Attractive forces bond. If an attractive force comes and removes or opens up a bond so that maybe one particle of that's attached to a molecular bond of one element of it is removed because it is now being pulled by a stronger attractive force somewhere else, change happens. If we can stay so present with presence, we need not fear that change. If a part of if I am a molecule and some force comes and removes or attracts one of my particles, then I'm no longer the same molecule I was before. I've changed. But I'm still entangled with the part that got pulled away. I become more. As humans, we're very attached to the limited identity. And when identity changes, it's threatening because we're attached to our identities often. I contemplate dementia or Alzheimer's. We start parts of memory. It's memory loss. When it starts, like what could be an answer if your identity is your experience, if your identity is your memory? A part of your identity starts to fracture. You're losing memory to the point of dysfunctioning, and fear comes in. If dementia is a fire, then fear is the fuel, surely. If we understand the process from a quantum perspective or from a shifting perspective, I'm also a questioning. I'm questioning around that a lot. I think about that a lot. I have no answers, but the warrior in me is certainly seeking to bring light, to shift a paradigm. And I was thinking yesterday, we're in a shift. If we are in a shift, those of us who are shifting, a shift is not the same as a quantum jump. You can jump in from 1 second to the next, you're in a different state. When you're going through a shift, you're experiencing, or experiencing the shifting, the transition from this to that is experienced slowly as a transition. So if we're in this shift, I prefer to look at it as something exciting, that it's hardcore very often, because we're watching in real time the disintegration process, but we're also watching in real time, if we choose to look, the building process at the same time. Now the frequencies of what's being built and the frequency of what's being dismantled are so different. To be able to see them both at the same time, you have to be able to embody all those frequencies. Many of us are struggling with that a lot. I think some of us are very, not only able, but very focused on the dismantling. They're so attuned to those frequencies of the disintegration, they can't really see what's being built. It can be a very hopeless position. It can be a very, very difficult position, because it looks like everything is just coming undone. There's nothing good replacing this. And even it's like, well, if you're in that, that's what you're looking at. When you see a demolishing of a building, you're not seeing the building of the new building. You're in that zone of where you only see that. The new structures are being built in a different dimension. I'm reminded of, did you read or watch or know the story of the Mists of Avalon? Or Avalon is probably the myth of Avalon anyway. Avalon exists in the same place as Glastonbury. It's the same, theoretically it's the same physiological space, but it is a different dimension. So you have to go through the fog of those waters. And isn't it the warrior who is also the ferryman? He ferries us through, and depending on your state of consciousness, you will land up on the shores of either Glastonbury or Avalon. I'm hearing church bells. The church just starts belling here. Anyway, thank you. But these are different frequencies, and where am I coming from? We're shifting, so we're experiencing people who are asleep through this shift, they will wake up in the new world. They will not go through the slow of it. So that's why it's never a good idea to wake up someone who's sleeping. Let them sleep and wake up naturally. The bloody alarm clock. If they set the alarm clock themselves, everybody who goes to sleep either sets an alarm clock or they don't. Oh, I wish we would stop trying to wake each other up. You try to forcefully wake up someone, they get very angry. Not always, but frequently. Or they just turn around and go back to sleep. We all have our own time to wake up. And we go to sleep again, and we wake up again, and we go to sleep again. That's rhythmic. Rhythmic, rhythmic, rhythmic. The rhythmic warrior. Which wave spell is that? A white dog? Ah, love. It's just, let sleeping dogs lie. I mean, that's what love would say, right? So, don't force yourself into the light. Don't force yourself awake. Don't force yourself into fearlessness. That's what love would say. That's what the white dog says. In another sphere, you are always awake. Just enjoy being asleep. Enjoy being unconscious. There's so much to be enjoyed as human when you forget that you're spirit, because you always are spirit. Yellow human and white wind are always linked. But they're also wind and spirit, or wind and human. They're also not the same. So now I think I'm good. I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm good. We're good. Hold on to nothing. The void. The warrior. You use the warrior when you are nervous about the void. Use the warrior. Call him. Call her. Call it. Call this archetype. Its best friends are the serpent and the blue night, abundance, dream, intuition, the unconscious, the darkness. The darkness, it is the, if you want to see your light most clearly, go into the darkest corner that you can. Get the darkest place. And you will see your light. If you want to see the fullness of yourself, go as far away from yourself as you need. If we go far out into space, at some point our sun is a very small speck, like a star, and there's a lot of darkness around it. But the darkness of the cosmos does not extinguish the light of the sun. Cannot. And yet, the world bridger teaches us the importance of letting go so that we can become new. We can become new in our own bodies. That is the key to longevity, is you have to let go. You have to keep on dying. There's just the dying process. Stop interfering with the dying process. All of the time. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Reincarnate all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Become new all the time. Let go. Rejuvenate. And don't try to do it consciously. It's a heck of an effort. It's already been set up. It's already in the programming. Just don't need to interfere with it. Let it happen. Shift, change paradigms. World bridger. Change paradigm. Change paradigm. Choose. Yellow human. Choose. What can you choose? What can you not choose? What can you be at peace with? What can you not be at peace with? What are you afraid of? What am I afraid of? Yellow warrior. Fearlessly moving toward the light. But understanding it's the dark that makes the light be even visible. So I wish us all a delightful Christmas day. Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. The end is the beginning. May we know. And may we know that we don't know. All right. I wish us a beautiful day. Aho.